Hello and welcome back to a new episode of Kerbal Space Program JNSQ, and right on the launch pad with the Orbital 3 that we've built pretty much last episode, or was it 2 episodes ago? I'm not quite sure. Anyways, we are doing first of all the stack separator testing contract, and with that we're ready to go and start our next contract, which is actually the rendezvous of two vessels in Cuban orbit. So that means obviously we have to make two launches in order to obviously have two vessels in low Cuban orbit in order to perform a rendezvous, but I think that much is obvious. Further, we have actually Valentina on board, since she's still at level 1, which is not bad, but since we're just gonna go to low Cuban orbit anyways, there is really no point in bringing Jebediah in the first place, so we might as well use get Valentina this additional experience points in order to level up her, or to raise her level. As for the launch vehicle, it is like I said, it's the same as we had in, I think, with Valentina last time as well. I'm not quite sure what episode that was actually in, but the launch where we went to the North Pole of Cuban and barely did not reach orbit, though that was, like I said, a polar orbit attempt, and while this is now going for an equatorial orbit, and I removed the Science Junior Bay as well, so I think we should have more than enough delta. Well, we should be able to get into a low Cuban orbit, and that's the goal of it. Further, the other additional thing that I will try to do in this run, we have 82 science points, as you can see here, and we need 90 points for another point of interest. Now, the next tech node, and I'm actually interested in miniaturization, since we will get docking ports, and without docking ports it makes, actually, in my personal opinion, not really a lot of sense to go for rendezvous, but with these additional 8 points that we still need, there will be a point in performing rendezvous, and this might actually be useful for a future MUN mission. So my goal is to do a couple of EVA reports. Since we now have the astronaut complex upgraded, we can perform EVAs even in space, and this will give us additional crew reports with more science points, so I do hope that that will be, at the end of the mission, enough to upgrade that. And with that being said, I guess we can just skip forward to the second launch, since, well, there's nothing really new. We've already had this, not this specific craft reach orbit, but multiple other crafts reaching orbit, and you've already seen this craft anyways. So yeah, so see you guys in just a second when we will be launching the second craft. Hello and welcome back. Here we are again on the launch pad, lifting off with almost, not quite, but almost the same rocket as well, however different command pod, and we have two tourist Kerbals aboard. So, like you obviously can guess from the fact that we have no tourist Kerbals on board, I actually accepted a small tourist contract in the meantime, since we're only going to go to orbit anyways, so we might as well get, what was it, I think 40,000 funds from it, so that might as well do something semi-useful. And because we're now bringing 2 Kerbals instead of 1, and that's a heavier capsule and a bit of battery and probe core control, I also stretched the main stage here by 1 tank. Where is it? This one additional small fuel tank, and 1 even smaller fuel tank in the upper stage. Then we have no booster separation, and there's actually one thing I'm kind of only realized after starting the recording and pressing the spacebar, aka launching, is I didn't pay attention at all and whatsoever to actually get into a good alignment launch opportunity for that craft. So we are going to perform quite a lot of rendezvous slash yeah, correction maneuvers, which is kind of bad. But yeah. Wait, and I'm just realizing I'm actually pointing the rocket the wrong way. Wow, that's like the best thing I did ever. Wow, that's like even worse than before. Now I wasted a lot of fuel. I do hope that we have now enough fuel. Okay, I was now stupid. We now used up quite a lot of unnecessary fuel to burn towards the south. And I do know actually, that's something you didn't say, the capsule where Valentina is only has 100 meters per second of fuel left, so just enough to deorbit, but not a lot for correction maneuver. That's also one of the reasons why I actually put two additional fuel tanks, so kind of one to compensate for this additional one. So that was kind of the idea. So that's kind of bad now. So there is a non-zero possibility of this mission actually not going according to plan. But anyways, first of all, we do have to get into orbit. That's our first challenge, and I guess I'm gonna time warp fast forward and you will see the result. So as for the result, I guess you can guess it from the way we're looking at things right now. The turrets are coming back. Yay. So both of them got a suborbital check, but what's the point in having a suborbital check if you don't get a orbital check mark? Anyways, so that's kind of bad. Now we are re-entering. This is actually the first time we're having one of those how are things called re-entry pods, like the Soviet ones re-entering actually. So this is also one of the reasons why it's pretty much good to go down from a suborbital re-entry. You know, the solar panels, even if they had burned up, well, whatever, honestly speaking, that's not really a big issue, since solar panels are not really necessary to land to begin with. But this kind of brings us back to the beginning of the episode for that, as a matter of fact. Well, not the beginning, but rather the beginning of this launch. We have to relaunch this one in a slightly, well, more efficient and not stupidly just pointing south instead of east. That's kind of the biggest issue, I guess. Apart from that, we should, in theory, probably, I think, I guess and hope, have enough Delta V to get to orbit. But yeah, anyways, long story short, we're going to recover these guys and slap them into the same rocket once again, and this time I'm going to wait for a good opportunity, B, gonna launch the right way, and C, hopefully go and actually hit orbit. And did we just gain one science point? Interesting indeed. First of all, I'm going to turn the entire rocket by 90 degrees. I'm not quite sure whether this was the right 90 degrees, but at least some sort of 90 degrees. Anything else? I am actually going to upgrade this fuel tank as well. Actually no, let's not upgrade it, but rather give it this small fuel tank here as well. There we go. Now let's smack those Kubel tourists in there. Yes, they have already their seat. They've already taken their seat, so we're just gonna slap them into a new rocket. And this time, like I said, if I can find that one set as target. Wait a second. Let's wait a tiny bit more. I guess this seems to be like a solid launch window, and not quite 100%, and off we go. This time I'm going to pay attention and fly to the east. There we go. I think that was almost too much to the east. Well, I guess it is actually too much to the east. Anyways, off we go a second time. Let's hope that the third launch is a charm. In terms of the third launch in an episode is a charm. Whoa, no, maybe not 3 times regular speed, that is too much crack and attacking. Anyhow, see you guys in a bit, and hope that this time the outcome is going to be positive, otherwise it's starting to get embarrassing. Okay, here we are, not quite in orbit, but just the launch opportunity was actually pretty darn good. The spacecraft should be In front of us though, I cannot see the marker. It's kind of weird. I'm pressing, even though I'm pressing F4, since that is usually the one that toggles the markers. Oh, there it is. Actually, I found it. There we can see the aircraft, spacecraft. Brilliant. We are in a slightly inclined orbit. I'm still burning, but wow! I just realized that we have no fuel. This is so pathetic. Wow, this is so bloody pathetic. Yes, we are in a slightly too high orbit. Yay. But we just ran out of fuel, and our periapsis is just underneath the surface. Well, in other words, even if I went for not such a high apoapsis, I guess this is starting to really be embarrassing and pathetic. I was really honestly was about to be like, okay guys, this is a perfect approach, this is perfect, we have a nice encounter, we're ready to go and have some fun, aka rendezvous, even though there's no point apart from doing this bloody mission. But no, we managed to fail a second time we managed to fail a second time getting into orbit. And what is this actually? This is I think episode number 6, number 7. Not quite sure. But boy oh boy, this is pathetic. This is honestly so bloody pathetic. And I'm going to apologize right here and right now for this. Well, I think it's entertaining. Well, I do hope I really hope it is entertaining, since otherwise there'd be no point in me doing it in the first place. But yeah, so I guess 3 times has to be a charm. 3 times doing the same thing over and over again. So, see you in a second. I hope. Okay, as it seems, and I certainly hope, 3 times is a charm. We are having a nice launch opportunity with the target already selected. This time I didn't forget that. And off we go at not 100% but 50%. And I did a couple of modifications to the to our vessel. So I removed one small fuel tank, that I added to the first stage, and added 2 side booster type of things, as you can see here, with liquid fuel in them, but well, not but that's literally it. So we have here our SRBs as we had earlier. The same ones had 2 hammer SRBs to get us off the ground, which kind of are now empty mass, since I'm gonna wait until this fuel here runs out, hopefully, and then we're gonna ditch those 2 sideways fuel tanks. And because of that, I should have actually had the entire the swivel running the entire time at 100% throttle. But anyways, because now we have a huge problem of wasting fuel, so I'm gonna actually change the staging on the fly. Brilliant, so much so for planning this one out nice. And yes, clean, I guess. So at least we got now rid of those tanks, and now we're pretty much with a fully fueled center stage. A bit higher up, I think. I have actually no clue, since in terms of recording, for you it was 2 seconds, well, a minute ago. For me it's been a couple of hours ago, since I had to lunch in between and a lunch break. So yeah, anyways, long story short, 3 times is a charm, I hope, and if not, well, then I'm really not sure why I'm even playing this game in the first place. Anyhow, see you in orbit, hopefully, this time for sure, or well, forget it. Yay, 3 times the charm, as it seems. We are finally in a orbit 100 by 90 kilometers. We are actually ahead of the Orbiter 3, so my launch went a bit too perfectly. Speaking of launch, something you guys didn't see, this time I managed actually to make the turn a bit more gradual and pick up more horizontal velocity with the main stage, which also was very, let's say, comfortable. But anyhow, we are in a higher orbit. Well, we should be in a higher orbit, I guess. Which is what's actually the orbit of the other craft? 85 by 104. So we want to go up into a higher orbit by a higher orbit in order to be slower. That seems like a solid amount. So I do have a rendezvous docking thingy. Oh, I totally forgot the fact that you cannot time warp in this mode any further, even though in a few, well, faster. Still, how's it called? Restricted by the altitude above the surface and not whether you are in a stable orbit or not. Because you can see we are kind of letting the Orbiter 3, so Valentina's capsule, catching up, which is great. We do have enough electricity, yes we do, which is exactly what I planned to do, but since we cannot time warp faster than, what was that, a couple of times, gonna just use a bit more fuel to force a intersect 24 kilometers, 21 kilometers, 19, 7, 4, 3, 2, that's pretty much 2. Okay, so we're going to time warp once more at 50 times. It's not 100, it's 50 times. So I'm gonna have to wait until we're here. T-minus 30 minutes. By the way, 30 minutes, that's the entire time it takes to orbit. Or is it 20 minutes in stock KSP? I'm not quite sure. There's probably someone in the comments down below who already knows the answer, but I might, if he has a nice day, share it with us, because I actually can't remember, even though I've been to low Cuban orbit a gazillion times already. Never paid attention to that. Anyways, we are still 5 minutes out. And the target, where's the target? A couple more minutes out. Have I disabled the markers? The other question is that I'm only realizing right now. F4. Yes, I had disabled the markers. Is this actually bright enough for YouTube? Let me quickly change the. By the way, if you're interested in putting your things more brighter ambient light boost, okay, and yes, I do already have it. So anyways, let's put it up to 50% and be done with it. So if you, even though you are not on YouTube but playing the game for real, and you think it's a bit too dark, especially if you're using some environmental mods, it can actually be really dark even in a regular game, like the regular game, I guess. So this is something that is rather useful option, same as tweaks, advanced tweakables. A advanced option you should be aware of. Well, advanced tweakables is something you should have turned on anyways, in my personal opinion, because auto struts really do help you a lot. Anyways, this ambient light boost option is just useful in my personal opinion. Long story short, we're going to get closer to that thing, and we already established, or completed rather, the rendezvous contract, even though we are still a kilometer away from that craft over there, which is rather nice. So you don't even have to, I guess the limit for that actually was 2.5 kilometers, just a rendering distance, loading distance, sorry. So yeah, I guess that's it. There we have Valentina. We can switch over to her and say hello there, I guess. There's the other craft, Orbiter 4. But with that being said and completed, I guess we can actually EVO her. Well, we're still on the dark side. Anyways, do another crew EVA report, Western Sea. Get a board because we already have that. Dump the experiences, we already have that one. And we are going to time warp to... let's have a look at the map actually. I guess we can just deorbit right here and right now. I'm going to deorbit, and we're gonna call this episode a success after, well, like I said, 3 times a charm. Deorbit burn, and down we go. out of fuel. Ditching that thing, you can still go into another EVA report over the Midlands. And let's do one more, or let's have a look at least at another biome and lowlands. Yeah, you please point retrograde, thank you. I'm just gonna go time warp down. Now we are in the upper atmosphere, and EVA report in the upper atmosphere. It's time to get back into the ship, and with that being said and done, time for re-entry. And we had that one, well, re-entry already a couple of times, and we are at the 23-ish minute mark, I guess. So I guess we're going to cut it down so that you can enjoy the final overview in just a second, and the wrap up. Here we're coming down to the surface, just a nice touchdown after another orbital flight. Nothing special, just going to collect all the data and having a look whether we have new pressure data. And yes, we do. We have new data. This one, I sadly already used both GUs, so we're not going to get new GU data. However, we will probably get a new crew report, brilliant. A surface EVA report, brilliant. And we don't have the surface sample feature yet, brilliant. You can board, thank you. And recover the vessel, and with that we have completed this orbital flight, which should yield us actually more signs, more than enough signs, since only one crew report would have been enough. Wow, oh my goodness, we actually even got a almost 60 science points, even though, like I said, the plan was to get 8. So that's kind of at least worth something. Of course, it took us a lot longer because of the entire tourist thingy. Well, the capsule is pretty much worth nothing. The other important thing, Valentina has advanced to level 1, which is brilliant, and we got some money. I'm quite confused. Why did we get so much money? 4,000 from that. That's still the same thing. I know, actually. Oh, we got money for the first spacewalk in orbit around Kerbin and the first rendezvous maneuver. Okay, that's why we got some money. That's brilliant. And the partial. Oh, okay, interesting. We got another 30,000 from that. Anyhow, long story short, we got a bunch of money. We have now 150 science points, and the reason why I even went out there to do this is to get miniaturization, or to be more precise, the Clambertron docking port, because now with this and the precise propulsion from last time, we can make a small little satellite type of return capsule, which we might actually use in a future mission, or hopefully the next episode actually, to go to the moon and return some scientific data from the moon. And on this note, even though we were doing pretty much 3 times the same thing over and over again, so this kind of also has the charm of being kind of as if this is the first time playing KSP. I do have to kind of, I can't just go by my feelings, since usually it's like, well, I need approximately this many fuel tanks for this type of rocket, this should get us into orbit, no problem. And here, all those more or less like approximations really don't work anymore, and this is kind of collected debris, brilliant. Kind of fun to, as if I'm playing this for the first time again, and this is kind of also what's so funny about JNSQ. So anyhow, on this note, I hope you've enjoyed today's episode as well, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching, Spaceship signing out. Enjoy the rest of your week, my friends, or day.